Hello and welcome to the final of Mastermind. And for the climax of this year's competition, you join us in the heart of London at a profoundly historic site. This is the Temple, the innermost core of the English legal system. A world of its own, almost. A city between two other cities, the City of London and the City of Westminster, overlooking the Embankment. Now, back in 1329, the Mayor of London was ordered to keep the new Temple gates open by day, that the King's Justices' clerks and others wishing to pass by the water of the Thames for the prosecution of their affairs might not be hindered or delayed. Well, for more than 600 years since then, barristers have studied and practiced their profession in these buildings. And it's here at the Middle Temple that our four finalists, 2 men and 2 women, will be competing in a few moments' time for the coveted title of Mastermind 1983. The first is Alex Yates, a charity worker with Christian Aid in Brixton. Born in Aberdeen, Alex Yates left school at the age of 14 with no qualifications at all. His work, he says, is a result of a deep interest developed late in life in the problems of third world countries. His previous jobs have included writing sleeve notes for classical records and exhibition catalogues for art galleries while working for a degree in librarianship.
Hello, scholarships.
At Christian Aid, he helps organise scholarships to enable students from all over the world to study in the United Kingdom. His concern, particularly with African countries, has developed from close contact with students and their backgrounds. Our second finalist is Mrs. Margaret Peat, a school science technician in the chemistry laboratories of the Royal Grammar School in Guildford, where she's worked for the past 8 years. Mrs. Peat graduated from Sheffield University with an honours degree in zoology, but has chosen historical subjects in both of her qualifying rounds of Mastermind, subjects which she reads simply for personal pleasure and interest. She sings contralto with the Guildford Philharmonic Choir and, when not struggling with a Times crossword, is a dedicated supporter of Tranmere Rovers. Our third finalist is a London Underground train driver, Christopher Hughes. Born in Barnet, Mr. Hughes went to Enfield Grammar School and then joined British Railways as a fireman. After 6 years in Eastern Region, he changed to London Transport, where for the past 8 years he's been a driver on the Piccadilly line. When not in the tunnel, he lives with his mother in Ponders End, and in his spare time directs amateur dramatic productions with the Enfield Youth Theatre. Of our 4 finalists tonight, Christopher Hughes had the highest qualifying score in the semi-finals. Our 4th finalist for this year's Mastermind title is a civil servant who lives in Bristol. Mrs. Katherine Tyson was born in Nottingham and went to Nottingham High School before reading English at Bristol University. As secretary of the University Operatic Society, she met her future husband Steve, who was then president of the society. At home in Clifton, she's the secretary of the local Bellevue Residents Association and has a keen interest in antiques and old clothes. She works as an auditor with the Department of Health. So now let battle between the 4 finalists commence inside Middle Temple Hall. And this is Middle Temple Hall, and what a magnificent setting it makes for our final. It was built during the reign of Queen Elizabeth of England and was opened in 1570. And to this day, it's used for lunches and dinners, receptions and concerts, and we're delighted that so many of the benchers members and students of the Middle Temple are with us in the audience this evening to see that justice is done, we hope. And at stake is this beautiful Caithness glass trophy, specially created for us by Dennis Mann. And one of our 4 finalists will be taking it away to keep for all time to commemorate the title of Mastermind 1983. Now, all our 4 finalists have chosen to revert to their original first-round specialized subject, as is their right. And so now, may I have the first finalist, please? Your name, please.
Alex Yates,
Occupation.
charity worker.
In the semi-final, you took the history of South Africa and Namibia. What is your chosen subject now?
Slavery and the slave trade.
Mr. Yates, you have 2 minutes on slavery and the slave trade, starting now. Which city was the birthplace of William Wilberforce, who was known as the liberator of the slaves?
Hull.
Correct. In October 1787, the design of the seal of the Committee for the Abolition of the Slave Trade was approved. What was the motto inscribed on the seal?
Am I not a man and a brother?
Correct. Which British colony in Africa was founded as a haven for emancipated slaves?
Sierra Leone.
Correct. Which English port dominated the slave trade in the middle of the 18th century?
Bristol.
Correct. Who was the American abolitionist who led a violent attack against the pro-slavery settlement at Potawatomi in May 1856?
Pass.
In which London street did Granville Sharp first meet the Negro slave Jonathan Strong and encounter that turned Sharp into an abolitionist?
Cheapside.
No, in Mincing Lane. Which was the major port of entry for slaves into Brazil?
Bahia.
Correct. Who was the founder and editor of the influential U.S. abolitionist newspaper The Liberator?
Pass.
What was the Osnaburg, which was purchased in large quantities for the slave plantations?
A kind of cloth.
Correct. In Haiti in 1791, who was the voodoo priest who, after demanding better conditions for slaves, incited a rebellion that led to the murder of some 2,000 whites?
Henri Christophe.
No, Boukmans. To which island did the Dutch West India Company ship most of the slaves it took from Africa?
Pass.
Who was the Spanish trader who ran the notorious barracoons of the Galinas River until 1839?
Pass.
Which state within the United States contained the largest number of slaveholders in 1860?
Virginia.
Correct. What were known as coffles?
Lines of slaves.
Correct. Of whose slaving expedition of 1562 did Queen Elizabeth declare it would be detestable and call down the vengeance of heaven upon the undertakers?
Hawkins.
Correct. What was the name of the factor on the Rio Pongo who wrote a book called 20 Years' Adventures of an African Slaver?
Pass.
How were the penalties for breaking the British Abolition Act of 1807 extended in 1811?
Pass.
In the sugar trade, what did John Woolman, the American Quaker, advocate to avoid using slave labor?
Pass.
And at the end of that round, Mr. Yates, you have scored 9 points. You passed on 7. The man who led the violent attack against the pro-slavery settlement at Potawatomi in May 1856 was the famous John Brown, whose dead body is still around. The founder and editor of the newspaper The Liberator was William Lloyd Garrison. The island to which the Dutch West India Company shipped most of the slaves it took from Africa was Curacao. The Spanish trader who ran the notorious barracoons of the Galinas River until 1839 was Don Pedro Blanco. The factor on the Rio Pongo, who wrote 20 Years' Adventures of an American Slaver, was Captain Theodore Cano. The penalties for breaking the British Abolition Act of 1807 were extended in 1811 because they were increased to include transportation for life. And John Woolman, the American Quaker, in order to avoid using slave labor in the sugar trade, advocated that they should use maple sugar, which should be used instead of cane sugar. Mr. Yates, thank you very much. Our second finalist, please. Your name, please.
Margaret Peat,
Occupation.
school science technician.
In the semi-final, you took the life of Alexander the Great. What is your chosen specialized subject this time?
The life of Richard III.
Mrs. Peat, you have 2 minutes on the life of Richard III, starting now. Where in September 1483 did Richard hold an investiture of his son Edward as Prince of Wales?
York.
Correct. Who was the author of the jingle, "The cat, the rat, and Lovell our dog rule all England under the hog"?
Collingbourne.
Correct. Which surviving institution of chivalry received its royal charter from Richard in 1484?
College of Heralds.
Correct. Which earl's household did the young Richard enter in order to learn the rudiments of knightly conduct?
Warwick.
Correct. Of what treaty, concluded by his brother Edward IV in August 1475, did Richard disapprove?
Picquigny.
Correct. What important instrument of state did the Master of the Rolls deliver to Richard at Nottingham Castle in August 1485?
The Great Seal.
Correct. On June the 22nd, 1483, a public sermon from St. Paul's Cross stated Richard of Gloucester's claim to the throne. Who preached the sermon?
Rolf Shaw.
Correct. At his first parliament, Richard abolished the forced loans through which his brother had raised money. What were they called?
Benevolences.
Correct. Which Lancastrian lord commanded the troops facing Richard at the Battle of Tewkesbury?
Oxford.
No, Beaufort, Duke of Somerset. What appointment for life was conferred upon Richard of Gloucester by his brother Edward IV in October 1469?
Admiral of England.
No, Constable of England. According to the Croyland Chronicler, early in 1484, Richard exacted a kind of new oath from the lords of the realm. What was it?
A fealty to his son.
Correct. Who commanded the Scottish citadel at Berwick when Richard secured it for England in the summer of 1482?
The Earl of Bothwell.
Correct. On March the 10th, 1484, Richard issued a circular letter to the English bishops. What was it about?
About their conduct.
No, it was to suppress vice and sexual immorality. What was Richard's motto?
Loyalty binds me.
Correct. Before the Battle of Bosworth, both Richard and Henry Tudor appealed for support to Henry's stepfather, who was this apparently uncommitted nobleman.
Thomas Stanley.
Correct. What's the name of Buckingham's servant who betrayed the Duke to the Sheriff of Shropshire?
Ralph Bannister.
Correct. After the Duke of Clarence was found guilty of treason, Edward IV conferred one of the Duke's titles on Richard's son, Edward. What was it?
Salisbury.
Correct. To whom did Richard plan to marry his niece, Anne de la Pole?
King of Scotland's son.
Yes, the future James IV of Scotland. I'll accept that, and at the end of that round, Mrs. Peat, you have scored 15 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And our third finalist, please. Your name, please.
Christopher Hughes.
Occupation.
London Underground train driver.
In the semi-final, you chose the Flashman novels of George MacDonald Fraser. What is your chosen specialised subject this time?
British Steam Locomotives, 1900 to 1968.
Mr. Hughes, you have 2 minutes on British Steam Locomotives between those dates. Starting now, what was the railway that introduced the schools class locomotives in the early 1930s?
Southern.
Correct. What was the name of the engine designed by Collett that represented Britain in the centenary celebrations of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad?
King George V.
Correct. The LMS inherited a class of outside cylinder 440 superheated locomotives. By what name were they known?
Pass.
What was the number of Ivett's first large Atlantic built for the Great Northern Railway in 1902?
251.
Correct. What nickname was given to the LMS two-cylinder Hughes Fowler 260s that were introduced in 1926?
Crabs.
Correct. In Southern Railway and Southern Region days, Isle of Wight locomotives were all named after what?
Towns on the island.
Correct. What was the name of the type of valve gear fitted to the WD Austerity 210O locomotives introduced in 1943?
Walsharts.
Correct. Two locomotives in the LNER B17 class were introduced in 1937 with streamlining. One was the City of London. What was the name of the other?
East Anglian.
Correct. The Highland Railway Clan class locomotives were designed by C. Cumming. What company built them?
Caledonian Railway.
No, Hawthorne Leslie and Company. In the early days of grouping, Southern Railway locomotive numbers were prefixed by the letters A, B or E. Which letter denoted a former London and South Western locomotive?
E for
Correct.
Eastleigh.
Why were Duke Dog locomotives so called?
They're a combination of Duke of Cornwall boilers and Bulldog frames.
Correct. What was the official classification of British Railways number 62472 Glen Nevis?
D34.
Correct. The motive power of the Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway was based on the design of which pre-grouping company?
Midland.
Correct. What was the class name to which 440 number 506 Butler Henderson belonged?
Director.
Correct. In 1928, Gresley ordered a special high-pressure boiler for an experimental 464 locomotive. What was the engine's number in LNER days?
10,000.
Correct. How did the Highland Railway's characteristically different chimney vary from most others?
It was an annular chimney designed to lift exhaust steam when drifting.
Correct. In 1925, LNER introduced a Garrett articulated locomotive. What was its wheel arrangement?
2882.
Correct. What was the British Railways power classification of the LMS Mogul locomotives in the number group 42700 to 42984?
They were the Crabs 5MT.
No, it was 6P5F, passenger and freight. And at the end of that round, Mr. Hughes, you two have scored 15 points. Passed and only the one. The question about the class of outside cylinder 440 superheated locomotives inherited by the LMS. They were known as Midland compounds or Dealey compounds, and later they got the nickname of Crimson Ramblers. Mr. Hughes, thank you very much. And our fourth finalist, please. Your name, please.
Katherine Tyson,
Occupation.
civil servant.
Now, in the semi-final, you took the novels of Jane Austen. What is your chosen specialised subject this time?
Shakespeare's tragic heroes.
Mrs. Tyson, you have 2 minutes on Shakespeare's tragic heroes, starting now. Of Lear's 3 daughters, Cordelia was hanged in the prison cell. Goneril stabbed herself. How did Regan die?
Poisoned by Goneril.
Correct. In the mock trial of his daughters, Lear appoints Edgar as a robed man of justice. Whom does he make his yoke fellow of equity?
The fool.
Correct. In the opening scene of Othello, what is a motive that Iago gives Roderigo for his intrigues against Othello?
He's been superseded by Cassio as
Correct.
lieutenant.
What pattern decorated the incriminating handkerchief dropped by Desdemona?
Spotted with strawberries.
Correct. When Antony tells Cleopatra to go to Caesar after his death, who does he say is the only one of Caesar's circle to be trusted?
Proculeius.
Correct. Who wrote The Life of Antonius, which was Shakespeare's main source for Antony and Cleopatra?
Plutarch.
Correct. In Macbeth, which thane gave Duncan the news from Fife of Macbeth's victory over the Norwegian king?
Ross.
Correct. How do the witches answer Macbeth's question, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
They show 8 kings.
Correct. What was a speech given by the first player at Elsinore that Hamlet said he chiefly loved?
In his tale to Dido.
Correct. What did the king wager on Hamlet in the fencing duel with Laertes?
6 Barbary horses.
Correct. In King Lear, what is the precise condition imposed by the king on his elder daughters when he gives away his kingdom that causes contention later?
That he shall have 100 knights.
Correct. What did Othello do that Lodovico said would not be believed in Venice, so he should swear he saw it?
Struck Desdemona.
Correct. What action suggested by Agrippa did Caesar and Antony take to join their kingdoms and their hearts?
Antony married Octavia.
Correct. In Macbeth, what reason does a second apparition give when it tells Macbeth that he can laugh to scorn the power of man?
Because none of woman born shall
Harm him. Correct. In Hamlet, after the dramatic end to the play within the play, what is a message relayed to Hamlet by Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
That his mother wishes to speak
Correct.
to him.
In the mad justice scene in King Lear, what is the phrase Lear uses to suggest how sin should be treated to break the strong lance of justice?
Plate sin with gold.
Correct. In Othello, which character as she lay dying said of Desdemona, Moor, she was chaste, she loved thee, cruel Moor?
Amelia.
Correct. When Dercetas offers... I've started, so I'll finish. When Dercetas offers to serve Caesar after Antony's death, what does he bring him?
Antony's bloody sword.
Is correct. At the end of that round, Mrs. Tyson, you have scored 18 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of the first round of specialised questions. And let's look at the scoreboard, see how it went. In fourth place with 9 points, we have Alex Yates. In joint second place with 15 points, we have Mrs. Margaret Peat and Christopher Hughes. But the leader at the halfway stage with 18 points, 3 ahead of the others, is Mrs. Kathryn Tyson. Now to the second round of this final of general knowledge questions. And remember that it's usually the general knowledge that sorts out the final outcome of Mastermind. And may we have the first contender again, please. Charity worker for Christian Aid in Brixton. In fact, Christian Aid Week starts in a few days' time. Alex Yates. In fourth place with 9 points on slavery and the slave trade. Your general knowledge questions are starting now. The White Rose of York and the Red of Lancaster were united in one rose after Henry VII married Elizabeth of York. By what name is this rose known?
Tudor Rose.
Correct. Who was the chairman of the team whose report on the economic future of the Falkland Islands was published last September?
Pass.
Who's the Austrian-born conductor who's been director of the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra since 1954.
Von Karajan.
Correct. Which film, directed by Eisenstein, is an account of a mutiny on board a Russian battleship at Odessa in 1905?
The battleship Potemkin.
Correct. Who was a distinguished British writer whose works include The Meaning of Treason and The Birds Fall Down, who died in March of this year?
Rebecca West.
Correct. Who was a Scotsman who explored much of the River Niger and wrote Travels in the Interior Districts of Africa?
Mungo Park.
Correct. Of which island was the Greek lyric poetess Sappho a native?
Lesbos.
Correct. Throughout the reign of George II, all the prime ministers were of one political party. Which one?
Whigs.
Correct. Who in the early 19th century wrote an essay entitled Murder Considered as One of the Fine Arts?
Defoe.
No, De Quincey. In physics, Daniel and Leclanché are examples of what type of device?
Pass.
Who is the American author of On the Road, one of the leading writers of the Beat movement in the 1950s and 60s?
Jack Kerouac.
Correct. What's the name of the strait between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara?
The Dardanelles.
No, the Bosphorus. Which architect designed the Foreign Office, the Albert Memorial and St Pancras Station?
Webb.
No, Sir Gilbert Scott. In which of Puccini's operas does a corrupt police chief Scarpia appear?
Tosca.
Correct. In which country are the Pakhtuns or Pathans a predominant group?
India.
No, Afghanistan. Under which prime minister was the Open University created?
Harold Wilson.
Correct. In which Italian city does a horse race called the Corsa del Palio take place twice a year in the Campo, the main square of the city?
Siena.
Correct. Ruffs and reeves were once a table delicacy. What are they?
Birds.
Correct. In 1979, Kit Williams published an illustrated book containing clues that led to a golden hare buried at Ampthill Hill in Bedfordshire. What was the title of the book?
Pass.
And at the end of that round, Mr. Yates, your score has gone up to 21 points. You pass on just the three. The chairman of the team whose report on the economic future of the Falkland Islands was published last September was Lord Shackleton. And in physics, Daniel and Leclanché are examples of primary cells or electric cells. And the book that Kit Williams published, containing clues leading to a golden hare buried at Ampthill Hill in Bedfordshire, was entitled, you probably remember it now, Masquerade. Alex Yates, thank you very much. And our second finalist again, please. School science technician at the Royal Grammar School in Guildford. Mrs. Margaret Peat, lying in joint second place with 15 points on the life of Richard III. Your general knowledge questions starting now. In the BBC television series Nanny, who stars in the title role?
Wendy Craig.
Correct. Of what kind of bird are the following varieties? Greylag, white-fronted and pink-footed?
Goose.
Correct. Blacklead, or plum Lego, as used in pencils, actually contains no lead. What is the correct name as a mineral?
Carbon.
No, it's graphite. In 1946, an American philanthropist donated $8.5 million to purchase a site in New York City for the United Nations headquarters. Who was he?
Rockefeller.
Correct. With which musical instrument is Vladimir Ashkenazy particularly associated?
Piano.
Correct. The decimal numbering system uses a base of 10. What base is used in the binary numbering system employed in computers?
1.
No, 2. In which of John Osborne's plays does the musical comic Archie Rice appear?
The Angry Young Man.
No, the entertainer. What was a profession for which Gandhi studied in London from 1888 to 91 and which he later practiced in South Africa?
Medicine.
No, law. Animals that are active at night are described as nocturnal. What similar adjective is used to describe animals that are active during daylight hours?
Diurnal.
Correct. What's the capital of Peru?
Quito.
No, Lima. During the reign of which 13th century king did Lyme in Dorset become Lyme Regis?
King John.
Edward I, I'm afraid. The churches of Ravenna in Italy are famous for a particular type of decoration. What is it?
Marbled inlay.
No, mosaic, I'm afraid. In biology, the word protoplasm describes the total content of a living cell. What word is used to describe the protoplasm excluding the nucleus?
Cytoplasm.
Correct. Who composed the opera The Perfect Fool and the choral ballet The Golden Goose?
Puccini.
No, Holst. In 1534, which worldwide society was founded in Paris by St. Ignatius Loyola?
The Jesuits.
Correct. The Treaty of Lausanne of 1923 was a final settlement between the allies of the First World War and one of the Central Powers. Which one?
America.
No, Turkey. Macaca sylvanus is the only monkey native to Europe and lives in a small colony in the Rock of Gibraltar. By what name is it more commonly known?
The rock ape.
No, I can't accept that. It's a Barbary ape. Which English poet lived at Aldworth near Hazelmere in Surrey until his death in 1892?
Keats.
No, it was Alfred Lord Tennyson. And at the end of that round, Mrs. Peat, your score has gone up to 22 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And our third finalist again, please. London Underground train driver. Comes from Enfield, Middlesex. Christopher Hughes, lying in joint second place with 15 points on British Steam Locomotives from 1900 to 1968. Your general knowledge question starting. Now, which well-known pop singer is a chairman of Watford Football Club?
Elton John.
Correct. What was the name of the Zeppelin airship that burst into flames while mooring at Lakehurst, New Jersey in May 1937?
Hindenburg.
Correct. Which of the Marx Brothers never spoke in their films?
Harpo.
Correct. What's the name of the General Lighthouse Authority for England, Wales, the Channel Islands and Gibraltar?
Trinity House.
Correct. What's the last line following, we seek him here, we seek him there, those Frenchies seek him everywhere, is he in heaven, is he in hell?
That damned elusive Pimpernel.
Correct. Which group of creatures in the Mesozoic era is named from Greek words meaning fearfully great and lizard?
Dinosaurs.
Correct. The House of Savoy ruled over which country until the abdication of the king in 1946?
Italy.
Correct. Alpha particles are emitted in alpha radioactivity. Of which element are they the nuclei?
Pass.
Whose autobiography, published in October last year, is entitled Confessions of an Actor?
Laurence Olivier.
Correct. What's the name of the strait that separates Tasmania from the Australian mainland?
Bass Strait.
Correct. John Tedescant succeeded his father in the service of Charles I and Queen Henrietta Maria. In what capacity?
Chief botanist.
Yes, I'll accept that. A gardener, in fact. The verst is a unit of measurement approximately equal to 2/3 of a mile. With which country is it traditionally associated?
Russia.
Correct. According to Dr. Johnson, claret is a liquor for boys, port for men, but he who aspires to be a hero must drink
Brandy.
What? Brandy is right. Speleology is a scientific study of what?
Caves.
Correct. Who was a jazz pianist and organist born in New York in 1904 who composed many songs including Ain't Misbehavin' and Honeysuckle Rose?
Fats Waller.
Correct. What name has been given to the code of ethics and behavior evolved by the samurai of Japan?
Bushido.
Correct. In nautical terms, what word describes the heeling over of a ship on her side in order to clean or repair the bottom?
Careening.
Correct. Which of the City of London guilds is first in order of precedence?
Pass.
What is the principal metal mined at Minas de Rio Tinto in Spain?
Copper.
Correct. What's the name of the great desert in southern Africa, which lies mainly in Botswana?
Kalahari.
Correct. The area of a rectangle is length times breadth. The area of what figure can be calculated, I've started so I'll finish, the area of what figure can be calculated by the formula half base times height?
A pyramid.
No, it is in fact a triangle. And at the end of that round, Mr. Hughes, you have scored 33 points. You passed on just 2. Alpha particles are emitted in alpha radioactivity. The element of which they are the nuclei is helium. And in the City of London guilds, first in order of precedence is the Mercers. Mr. Hughes, thank you very much. And our final finalist again, please. Civil servant in Bristol, auditor in the Department of Health, Mrs. Kathryn Tyson, in the lead with 18 points on Shakespeare's tragic heroes, very appropriately, because in 1601 in this very hall there was the first recorded performance of Twelfth Night, probably with Shakespeare acting in it as well. And so, Mrs. Tyson, we'll see if that inspires you. You have the target of 33 to beat. Your general knowledge questions starting now. The general strike of 1926 was called by the Trades Union Congress in support of which group of workers?
Miners.
Correct. What name is given to a small finger-shaped cake of choux pastry filled with cream and usually covered in chocolate icing?
Eclair.
Correct. In which television comedy series are there characters called Compo, Clegg and Foggy?
Last of the Summer Wine.
Correct. In Roman mythology, who was the mother of Cupid?
Venus.
Correct. In which metropolitan county is the city of Birmingham situated?
Pass.
What's the common name of the fruit of the rose?
Whore.
No, hip. Who was a British composer whose works include the cantata Belshazzar's Feast and several film scores who died in March of this year?
Walton.
Correct. Upon which West Country city is Thomas Hardy believed to have based Melchester in his Wessex novels?
Dorchester.
No, Salisbury. Marlene Dietrich first sang the song Falling in Love Again in which film?
Blue Angel.
Correct. Of which country was Queen Anne's husband George a prince?
Hanover.
No, Denmark. What's the common name for the mineral hydrated calcium sulfate, which is used to make plaster of Paris?
Gypsum.
Correct. Who was the American architect renowned for his prairie-style houses who designed the controversial building for the Guggenheim Museum in New York City?
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Correct. In which of Dickens's novels is Mr. Pecksniff the arch-hypocrite?
Pass.
If something is described as cordate, of what shape is it?
Pass.
In February this year, what breed of dog won the title of Supreme Champion at Crufts Show?
Alsatian.
No, Afghan Hound. Which four-wheeled horse-drawn carriage with folding hoods was named after a town in West Germany?
Landau.
Correct. One of Stendhal's most famous novels is Le Rouge et le Noir. Le Rouge is usually thought to refer to the army. What institution was Le Noir?
The church.
Correct. Who was a Liberal Prime Minister who resigned in April 1908 and died less than 3 weeks later at number 10 Downing Street?
Campbell Bannerman.
Correct. The common name of the small bird Saxicola torquata derives from its alarm call, which sounds like pebbles striking each other. What is it?
Dipper.
No, the stone chat. In the 19th century, who composed the tone poem Till Eulenspiegel?
Strauss.
Correct. Billy Whitelaw appeared in the new play, I've started so I'll finish. Billy Whitelaw appeared in the new play Rockabye, which opened at the National Theatre in December last year. Who wrote the play?
Beckett.
Samuel Beckett is correct. At the end of that round, Mrs. Tyson, you have scored 31 points. You pass on three, all of which you probably knew. The metropolitan county in which the city of Birmingham is situated is West Midlands. Yes, I see you saying it. And the novel of Dickens in which Mr. Pecksniff is the arch-hypocrite is Martin Chuzzlewit. And if something is described as cordate, it is in fact heart-shaped. Kathryn Tyson, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of the second round of general knowledge questions and therefore to the end of Mastermind 1983. Let's just look at the scoreboard and confirm the results. In fourth place on 21 points, Alex Yates. In third place with 22 points, Mrs. Margaret Peat. In second place with 31 points, Mrs. Kathryn Tyson. But the winner, and therefore Mastermind 1983 with 33 points, is London Underground train driver Christopher Hughes. Congratulations to all the finalists. And now, to present the Mastermind Trophy, it's my pleasure to introduce the retiring chairman of the BBC's Board of Governors, Mr. George Howard.
I'm sure all of us at home think it's very easy to win, at any rate, the general knowledge questions of Mastermind. I'm sure equally that we'd find it quite impossible to do so once we're strapped into that electric chair there, which must be a terrible experience. I would like to congratulate all the contestants for what they've done and for the marvellous showing they put up. And I have great pleasure in doing two things. First of all, in presenting to Christopher Hughes this splendid bowl, and also in inviting him to attend in August at Oxford in order to take part in the International Mastermind Contest. We all congratulate you on this magnificent victory. And so Christopher Hughes becomes Mastermind's 11th champion.
And we'll be meeting him again in August in Mastermind International when he'll be facing the challenge of Australia, New Zealand and Ireland. And after that, we'll be back again next winter with another series, our 12th in fact. And may I here say thank you to all of you who applied to take part, far more than ever before, and I'm glad to say far more ladies have applied too. So all that remains for me to do now is to express our grateful thanks to the authorities of the Middle Temple here for their kind hospitality and to hope that you at home have enjoyed this series. And my thanks also to all the 48 contenders who were brave enough this year to sit in that infamous black chair. And now, from all of us here at Mastermind, it's thank you and goodbye.